Corrosion at the column base was such that replacement of these column bases up to a point 2 metres off the ground had to be considered. Some of the columns were marginal and considered appropriate for repair rather than replacement, and the column in this footage falls into this category. Many are much worse than the shown column. After exposing some of the bolt fixing embedded in the concrete, it was found the below ground section of the attachment studs were sound, so a method of cutting these and rethreading them below ground was investigated. Shown is a purpose-built machine for rethreading these studs below ground. The concept is to excavate concrete from around the existing fixings after resupporting and cutting the column base. The shown machinery is simply attached to the existing fixing bolt after it is cut to the correct height. Once attached, the single point tool is revolved around the fixing by hand. The thread pitch is applied by a collet which is attached to the fixing rod at a lower point. It acts as a nut of the same pitch. The machine is rotated and follows this nut, reproducing that pitch at the correct set cut diameter. This process, although simple, can take several hours per thread. 2 of these threads are possible in a single day. Shown in this footage is the first thread achieved after manufacture of the thread application machine. A piece of the same size bar as the foundation studs on site was welded attached to a bench. The same process of thread application planned for site was trialled. Of course, none of the space limitations apply here, but the test shows clearly the approach method. After the thread is cut, the machine is switched off and disconnected from the power supply. The entire unit is unscrewed off the now threaded fixing and the nut tested on the thread. New bolts and attachment nuts were manufactured for repair of the site column base attachments. In the meantime, a complete dummy column base had been excavated, manufactured and placed into the ground. Concrete was poured around the dummy column base and the whole assembly left for the required curing period. Concrete cutters were brought in to excavate to the required depth and the threading process was demonstrated on site. The coupling nuts, manufactured for the purpose of extending these threads, were attached to the newly threaded in-ground studs, and to these coupling nuts new threaded studs were added to extend the whole assembly to the original length. Once grouted back in place, this arrangement would achieve a similar strength to the original design used. As the repair requirement for the columns on site does not affect every attachment bolt, this method of repair is significantly cheaper than excavation and replacement of each column foundation. In all, 5 column bolts were replaced for load testing of this repair. Once cured, each thread will be tested using a hydraulic jack to a 30-ton load. Here we have the completed repair. All 5 selected studs have been extended and are awaiting grout filling. Load testing will follow 5 days after grouting to allow the grout to cure.